Hello, everybody. How you guys doing out there in chat land? Microphone working okay? Let's see who's in the chat. See Raymond, how you doing? Hey John. Hey Retro. Hey TOS. I gotta wake in time to catch Jack stream. I'm always glad to see you, man. Hey Cougar Knife. Hey Donald. How's everybody out there doing? Let's see, we got 12 people, 13 people watching. Only 5 likes though. That makes me sad. Hey John. Hey Spittle Buggy. All right, got a fair amount to go over today. We're gonna hit as many as we can. And looks like I got some chats already. Thank you guys for the Streamlabs donations. Thank you, John, who says money. Yay! Thank you, and thank you, Retro, for the generous donation. Says thanks for the show. Give Jack money. Indeed. Hi, Angela. Hey, Megan. Yeah, if you would like to donate or support the show, you can like the stream, share it on your social media, subscribe if you haven't, and donate to the Streamlabs link if you're willing or capable. Obviously not expected, but always appreciated. And I will be checking the Streamlabs in between articles. Hey, Kyler. I'm officially trusted with a... Wow. They're thinking, something to do. Probably insured. I won't worry about it. That's why anybody that trusts me with heavy machinery better have insurance, because I've broken lots of heavy machinery over the years. None of it on purpose, I don't think, offhand. Probably a couple, I don't know. Hey, Dangerous. Eric Swalwell's complaining about a national security threat. Wonder if he ran the tweet by the Chinese spy. He was, yeah. Apparently, she may have gone missing in that plane crash over in China, but that's for another time. Hey, Della, how's it going, man? Well, I'm glad to see everybody here. CNC machinist, nice. That sounds like a pretty good job. Sounds hard, though, so I don't think I'd be good at it. All right, lots happening out there in the nerd world. So let's start with the worst news possible. And that is, of course, that George Perez, the legendary comic artist, has left. He died at age 67. So this is from the Hollywood Reporter. Now, this guy was an icon in my childhood, because when I started reading, like really reading comics around 87, when the post-Crisis era, I only caught part of Crisis as a little kid. But I had started collecting comics like off the newsstand right around 86, 87. So the fact that George Perez was one of the artists on Wonder Woman, and he also wrote it, and Superman, and he did Crisis and a bunch of other stuff. He's pretty much drawn every major superhero. And this was devastating news. So George Perez, the acclaimed comic book artist and writer known for his work on major DC properties, including Crisis on Infinite Earths and Wonder Woman, along with Marvel's The Avengers, has died. He was 67. Yeah, his Avengers run with, I think it was Kurt Busiek, after Heroes Return, because it was volume 3 of The Avengers, The Heroes Return. And that was amazing. That was one of the best Avengers runs. I haven't read it in ages, but I've got a whole bunch of them now that I got out of a dollar box. And I'm excited to get back to them, because I'm a huge fan of this guy's art. Nice, clean style, very succinct, not a bunch of extra wasted space and lines. He's pretty good for the area. It's terribly physically intensive. A lot of math, though, so no English majors need to apply. Yeah, I'm not a math person at all. Hey, Costin, how's it going, man? Hey, Peter. Hold on, let me toss some wrenches out there. Can't have too many wrenches. Don't abuse your power, guys. All right. Hey, Hate Camel, how's it going? So the famed artist who worked on the new Teen Titans and Superman during his decades-long career passed away on Friday peacefully at his home with his wife, Carol Flynn, and family by his side, according to a statement posted to his official Facebook page. His passing followed a pancreatic cancer diagnosis. Pancreatic cancer is one of the worst diagnoses you could get for cancer. It's got a very, very tiny survival rate, much like brain cancer. Oh, thank you, John Migda, who says, more money. Appreciate it, man. Abuse power? Eventually we lose all the grades. That's a fact. He was not in pain and he knew he was very, very loved, the statement said. We are all very much grieving, but at the same time, we are so incredibly grateful for the joy he brought to our lives. To know George was to love him, and he loved back fiercely with his whole heart. The world is a lot less vibrant today without him. That's true. He just retired, and I didn't know about this diagnosis, but I saw he retired about, 6 months ago? But I don't think I paid much attention to why. Perez publicly announced his then stage 3 pancreatic cancer diagnosis in December 2021, telling fans that the cancer was inoperable and doctors had given him 6 months to live. The artist opted not to undergo treatment. At that point, you have to really weigh your options. And having seen what chemo does to people, oh dear God, I don't blame him at all. You're dead in 4 months. Yeah. He was only stage 3 at the time, but it's a death sentence. Stage 3, you're gonna die. It'll be stage 4 quick. Pancreatic cancer is horrific. I've been given the option of chemotherapy and or radiation therapy, but after weighing all the variables and assessing just how much of my remaining days would be eaten up by doctor's visits, treatments, hospital stays, and dealing with the often stressful and frustrating bureaucracy of the medical system, I've opted just to let nature take its course, and I will enjoy whatever time I have left as fully as possible with my family, friends, and fans, he wrote. Born in 1954 in the South Bronx, the Puerto Rican-American writer, penciler, colorist, inker, and Moore began his career in the 1970s, making his professional debut for a major publisher in August 1974 with Marvel Comics' Astonishing Tales number 25. He quickly became a Marvel regular, first co-creating with Bill Mantlo, The White Tiger. Bill Mantlo is one of my favorite writers for Marvel. He was the fill-in guy, did just about everything. George Perez was kind of the same way. First Puerto Rican superhero before working with other Marvel titles, including The Inhumans and Fantastic Four, and notably creating the Taskmaster character with writer Dave Michelin for the Avengers. That book goes for about $200, and they reprinted it in a True Believers for $1. Find that one. You can pick it up for $5 or less. With his growing popularity, he'd gone on to work for Marvel rival DC Comics, leading the art for Marv Wolfman's The New Teen Titans before he'd take a hiatus to spearhead with Wolfman's 1985 50th anniversary event, Crisis on Infinite Earths, an industry-defining and continuity-redefining crossover event that reportedly featured every single character DC owned. By the late 1980s, Perez was rebooting Wonder Woman, coming in as both the plotter and penciler of the series to tie the character much more closely to the Greek gods before returning to the Titans, now under their new name, the New Titans. His industry-defining work across more than 4 decades also included, in various role capacities, DC's War of the Gods run, Marvel's Infinity Gauntlet series, Batman, the JLA Avengers crossover, and more. George Perez had an art style that was both dynamic and incredibly expressive, DC publisher and chief creative officer Jim Lee said in a statement. His art was the perfect storytelling canvas for some of the most important events in DC history. While he will be sorely missed, his work will live on with a countless number of fans as well as all the talent he's influenced over the years. Perez also worked with Boom Studios and Image Comics at various points in his career. His extensive catalog earned him several Jack Kirby Awards and Inkwell Awards, Stacey Aragon Special Recognition Award of Lifetime Achievement. In 2017, he was inducted into the Will Eisner Hall of Fame. Perez announced his formal retirement in 2019. Wow, I was off by a couple years. He was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer on November 27, 2021. Everyone knows George's legacy as a creator, the statement posted to Perez's Facebook on Saturday acknowledged. His art, characters, and stories will be revered for years to come. But as towering as that legacy is, it pales in comparison to the legacy of the man George was. George's true legacy is his kindness. Yeah, everybody said he was a nice guy. I've never heard anybody badmouth him. Nobody credible. So it's a real shame. Hey, Merle. Hey, Tyler. Being called racist for a Fandom Menace t-shirt. Wow. Well, go big or go home. You don't want a wrench? Okay. Double wrench? I can't double wrench things. I'm sorry. Yeah, so that's a shame. I really liked George Perez's work. Very talented man. Real shame to see that. I don't know what that noise was. So yeah, that's a real loss because he's a very talented man, and I grew up with a lot of his books, so real bummer on that front. But that's not the only news we've got, and unfortunately, we can't stop and we got to go forward. So if you get a chance to check out George Perez's work, I highly recommend it. He did a lot of great stuff back in the day. Yeah, sorry, Raymond. Hey, Jim. So no two-handed wrench like Darth Maul's lightsaber. Sad. I don't know. I'm not in charge of that crap. That's a YouTube thing. Weird noise at your home. Make sure toaster's ready. Oh yeah, I got two toasters right next to me. Hey Lester, how's it going, man? All right. So remember how we were talking about Ezra Miller last week? Well, he's not done making headlines. Hey, Bubba Hotep, how you doing, man? Oh, thank you, John Migda, who says more monies. Yeah, I like money. Thank you. So, Ezra Miller got arrested like 3 times in 2 weeks. Pretty impressive. Hawaiian PD must be sick of him. But a new accusation has surfaced. And this one is pretty fucked up. Do you mean Mr. Crash and Burn? Yeah. I don't know how Warner Brothers is going to do with this Flash movie. This dude is a fucking wreck. You say, well, what did this weirdo do this time? Well, the accusation is kind of messed up. Should be ready to serve some lovely toast. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Everybody likes a hot serving of toast. Flash star Ezra Miller accused of intimate partner sexual violence. This motherfucker is off his fucking rocker. Look at that picture, too. That kind of sums it up, doesn't it? Like, what? The Flash and Fantastic Beasts franchise star Ezra Miller has been accused of inflicting various abuses, ranging from physical violence to emotional manipulation, upon a former intimate partner. And now this gets real weird, guys. I think this article's got all the claims in it, but it's just buckle in. This latest claim against Miller comes to light on April 1st when a dedicated Miller Receipts Twitter account, Lot of Gay Crimes, I didn't make that up, that's in the article, made public a number of messages exchanged between themselves and the accuser, a young TikToker by the name of Mia Solange, in which the pair discussed the DCEU's actor's behavior. According to the alleged screenshots of these conversations, scared by @lot of gay crimes, Solange can be read declaring the user, "This MF is out of his effing rocker. I remember he flew me from Hawaii to Oklahoma to work on a movie with him," Solange recalled of one particular incident. "And my flight was canceled or some shit, and he literally cussed out the person who was trying to help me fix my flight. I was like, yo, It's literally okay. Yeah, yo. Pointing out that she was 19 at the time, there's pictures here too. Solange continued by reflecting on a moment wherein we were having sex one time and he knows I use they, them pronouns and still stroked my hair and said, "Good girl." sorry. Offering supposed proof of her identity, Solange also shared an alleged photo ostensibly depicting Miller sitting in a hotel room across from themselves, as well as 2 screenshots of their personal cell phone camera roll showing the presence of several personally taken images of the actor on their device. So here he is in one photo. That's obviously a hotel room, too. It's got all the generic hotel room accoutrements, plus some stuffed animals, which I don't want to know what those were for. And here's her with Miller. Another shot. This one looks like he might be drunk. I don't know. Providing at lot of gay crimes with yet another photo, this one showing bruises on her legs, supposedly sustained from Miller. Solange further asserted that though the Barry Allen actor hasn't really threatened me when we were physical, he would bite the shit out of me. Is anyone shocked that this dude is a biter in bed? Misspelled the author's name. Oh, yeah, probably. Oh, yeah, I did, didn't I? Yeah, I'll fix it later. I'll fix it in post. And one day, in like February or some shit, Ezra called me saying he wanted to go to England, wanted me to go to England with him and work with him in Europe and live with him, etc. Solange added, noting that the two had stopped speaking to each other months prior to this message. Wanted me to have his babies and get married. So here she is with some sort of markings. I don't know what that is. Looks like she walked into an end table. Solange claims against Miller would garner more widespread attention on April 23rd after they shared a now deleted video montage to TikTok featuring photos of the two, most of which were previously seen in the screenshots of their camera roll, and declared, "You took everything from me." Ezra is not a good human, wrote Solange, and I can finally say so without being terrified. #abuser. So here's the full picture from that one we saw earlier. So if this is her, it does look like her. She's making some pretty stark accusations here that if they're not true, she's going to get sued really bad. Notably, Solange's accusations against Miller were leveled roughly a day after the actor's Hawaiian rampage, at the time consisting of a traffic citation for being drunk and uncooperative in public, an arrest for disorderly conduct and harassment at a karaoke bar, and an escort off a couple's private property after he threatened and robbed them, began making headlines. And here's the Hawaiian Police Department's statement on this. There's his really horrible mugshot. Get a haircut. This does not look good on you. Okay, first of all, the camera is slightly out of focus, which is bothering me quite a bit because like this is blurry up here for some reason. But you can see his nose really good. I don't know. This eyebrow is kind of fuzzy too, so they need to clean that camera lens. As of writing, Solange does not appear to have shared any further information regarding her relationship with Miller, though the young social media star has since deleted the entirety of their internet presence, including their aforementioned TikTok account, as well as their respective Twitter and Instagram accounts. Likewise, Miller has not offered any comment on Solange's accusations. The fact she deleted all this tells me Warner Brothers went and threw some accusations at her. Like, take it down or we're going to sue you. But yet, some new charges against him. He misgendered someone during the sex by whispering, "Good girl." Now, that's pretty fetishistic, but I'm not ruling that out. I've said way kinkier shit than that. Guy looks like a crackhead hippie. He does. He is a very unfortunate looking man. How you doing, Keeper Dam? Looks like a bruise from being yeah. That's I would say that's a shady one. I think that's her calf, Bubba. I'm not sure. Imagine if he's at stage and he thinks this will be his JD trial. Yeah, well, you never know. Hey, BG. Miss Truce is going to get sued as much as that asshole loves attacking women. It'd be a league away for him to do it. That's true. Why you should be allowed to exile him? Not opposed. Rebuild 20-year-old porch and wheelchair ramp. Yeah. Go for it, Twisted. What should it have been? Should have said good gender non-conforming individual. She wanted they, them, I guess. Like, I guess she's non-binary, so I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird. Yeah, I'm not into any dirty talk during sex. That sounds should be moans, grunts, and her saying wrong hole. She can't say that with a ball gag in her mouth. Just throwing that out there. Yeah, I mean, if it would be funnier if it was the other way around, like she preferred to, or they preferred to be called she, and he's like, yeah, take it, gender non-conforming individual. I think that'd be way funnier. I want to see some porn company do that. Like, just take that to the most ludicrous extreme possible. Yeah, and yeah, stick to the front hole. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, the news just keeps getting weirder. We'll talk about Free Comic Book Day in a minute here. This headline thing is kind of pissing me off, so I'm going to fix that real quick. Because, yeah, I don't know. Now that you pointed it out, I can't unsee it. There. Much better. Raise enough for lumber. Yeah, lumber is going to cost you an arm and a leg. Just get a pickup truck and some chain. You'll be fine. Ball gags, panties stuffed in her mouth. Potato. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't hear the safe word. Apparently, after the shower, after all this, the shower needs scrubbing. Is not what she meant. Yeah. You're a kitchen. Thank you, John Migna, who says, money's good girl, you whore. Right? I like how, of all the things, it wasn't the biting or the rough stuff. It was the, he called me good girl. So, not the gunshot. Dibs on the fourth hole. Yeah. All right, let's get on with this before I get into more trouble than I already am. All right, over at Cosmic Book News, they are reporting that the Quantum Leap reboot is a go at NBC. With this guy replacing this guy. Quantum Leap reboot has been picked up for a series by NBC. Details include that the new series star Raymond Lee as Dr. Ben Song, previously described as the spiritual successor to Scott Bakula's Dr. Sam Beckett from the original series. Lee took to Instagram after his enthusiasm to offer his enthusiasm, according to Ziggy. So yeah, he posted a screenshot. Good job. It's been 30 years since additional casting includes Mason Alexander Park as the non-binary character Ian, the chief architect of Quantum Leap's AI program. Nanrisa Lee is playing Jen, the head of security at Quantum Leap headquarters. Caitlin Bassett is playing Addison, the project lead at Quantum Leap HQ, who operates the state-of-the-art technology to communicate with an individual time traveling to the past. Ernie Hudson is playing Herbert Magic Williams, a Vietnam veteran and head of the time travel project at Quantum Leap, using a bit of politicking and his military know-how to keep the Pentagon at bay. Magic buys the team some time to rescue Ben, but expects answers once he's back. The Quantum Leap reboot is also officially described as, it's been 30 years since Dr. Sam Beckett stepped into the Quantum Leap accelerator and vanished. Now a new team has been assembled to restart the project in hopes of understanding the mysteries behind the machine and the man who created it. The series is from Universal Television, a division of Universal Studios Group, with Stephen Lillian and Brian Winbrandt serving as writers and executive producers. Original creator Don Belsario is also serving as executive producer with Deborah Pratt and Martin Jarrow. The reboot is also said to be set in the present day and that Scott Bakula is not presently involved. I think the fact Bakula's not in it is going to hurt it. Because you can't play off fan nostalgia if you don't have him in the first few episodes. As a passing of the torch. Plus, there was really no good closure on that one. The ending was dumb. New guy's a good actor, might work out well. I hope so. Hey, Bianca, how's it going, man? Another show they could fuck up. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Woke Diversity League. That's what it's going to be. He's going to right their wrongs and oppressions of some other nonsense. I don't know. It's going to be fucking dumb. Was the Mr. Ed reboot coming out? I don't know. I'll have to ask Tori Spelling when she's going to be in it. Oh, is one of Dean Stockwell to have a background role in the Enterprise with the Ziggy controller? Yeah, that'd have been funny. Yeah, I think they're going to do a lot of PC nonsense on here. That's when I saw non-binary character, I was out. It could be good. I don't know. Yeah, this guy I've heard is a good actor, but they don't have Sam Beckett in it, and they're. I mean, you could get Scott Bakula. Really, what's that dude doing these days? Mr. Ed reboot will be a man in fetish gear. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. So I don't know. It's the non-binary and I'm out. Yep. And it's going to be a diverse crowd. They're going to play the whole thing. It'll be a bunch of women's issues and gay rights nonsense. I bet they even talk about January 6th or abortion or some bullshit like that. There's no subtlety anymore. So, yeah, I think this is going to probably be a bunch of woke garbage like everything else is these days. Speaking of woke garbage, Superman's getting a new cape. They just have to do a Sliders crossover. That could be cool, but they'll find a way to screw that up too. Can't have Scott on, he's conservative. That makes sense. Which means they'll never resolve that storyline. Why doesn't anyone go more obscure with Misfits of Science? That would be awesome, but Courtney Cox probably doesn't want to pick up her role again. Although I would probably be inclined to watch Misfits of Science. Not reading that dangerous. Get me in trouble. Superman's new cape gets an instantly historic new upgrade. Oh boy. Because it wasn't obviously gay enough with this book. And they're less than subtle messaging. So this is from Screen Rant, obviously. Warning, spoilers for DC Pride #1, because they just have to do specials that are going to end up in the dollar bin. In a brand new look at the heartwarming story of the upcoming DC Pride anthology from DC Comics, Superman gets a new cape. That's not Superman, that's fake Superboy. It's a new cape that's perfect modern upgrade for the hero. In a sneak peek at the Jonathan Kent starring story, his boyfriend Jay Nakamura gives him a colorful new cape with the pride flag that turns out to be a fitting gift for the bisexual hero. Subtlety? What's that? I'm telling you, these are secular chick tracks. Where chick tracks were fundamentalist Christian, these are fundamentalist commie crap. John Kent is currently Superman in the DC universe because DC hates us, as the hero replaced his father after he went off to save alien refugees and enslaved people on Warworld, because slavery analogies are required. Since Kal-El's been gone, John has undergone a journey of self-discovery, which includes coming out as bisexual after getting into an exciting new relationship with Jay Nakamura. Kent also appeared in the upcoming DC Pride anthology, where the hero will get a new cape with a special meaning related to his continually evolving identity. Because that says timeless, not trapped in the modern era. This is all going to be dated in like 6 months, like so many of these books. None of the books that are coming out now, with the exception of like some smaller ones like Blue and Gold, are likely ever going to be regarded well or even remembered. A lot of this stuff is just forgettable trash, and it will be thrown in the dustbin of history and forgotten faster than you can say wacky late Golden Age, early Silver Age Batman. Next needs a costume to be replaced with leather straps. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. It's just so disgusting. Colorist Triona Tree Farrell. That sounds made up. Shared her contributions to the upcoming DC Pride anthology from DC Comics when she contributed to a John Kent Superman story alongside Devin Grayson, Nick Robles, and Adita Bidikar. Oh, there's a bunch of people who weren't very good. Devin Grayson pretty much got her job because she was dating Mark Waid. She used to be a fairly okay writer. She did some decent Nightwing stuff, but then she just kind of like gave up somewhere along the line and went the Gail Simone route, where if I complain loud enough, I'll get gigs. That's how it seemed to me anyway. Preview pages show Superman's boyfriend, Jay Nakamura, giving his partner a gift. Kent opens the present, pulls out a new cape with the pride flag. With LGBTQIAAP colors stitched on the inside, Kent looks thrilled to get the new cape from Jay, and he shares a smile receiving the cape with his new partner. Oh my God. What a stereotype. Look at this. Like, oh, do you love it? Do you love it? Look, God, I feel bad for any artist that has to draw this shit. Oh, there's Damian Wayne. Like, I got you a present. Ugh. Could this get any lazier and stereotypical? John Kent Superman is a welcome addition to this year's DC Pride anthology from DC Comics, as the Heroes Coming Out story has been one of the best story arcs from the publisher this year. Wow, you haven't read any other books then. His relationship with Jay Nakamura has brought a much-needed male bisexual perspective to one of DC's most recognizable faces, as his romance seems built to last. Whatever. If it were me, to undo a lot of this nonsense, they need to have a secret invasion storyline where all these people are alien invaders. They're dominators that are in disguise, or white Martians, because they need to undo a lot of this stupid shit. It's fucking lazy. It's worse than Gay Iceman. Also feature new stories starring Batwoman, fake Aquaman, not the real one, fake Superman, Nubia, the gay Green Lantern, Jesse Chambers Flash, because she's a lesbian too, Poison Ivy, and Harley Quinn, because they're lesbians for some reason now, and the Dreamer. John Kent's starring story, Super Pride, nail, meet, hammer, right on the head. Super Pride will feature the warm moment between the hero and his boyfriend, and the cape represents the perfect modern upgrade for the hero. Even if he never wears the Pride flag-themed cape in action as Superman, oh, you know he will. It represents the hero like never before, because subtlety is a lost art. Although it would be cool to see Superman wear the colored cape, it would make for a landmark moment for representation in the pages of DC Comics. Ugh. On sale May 31st. And then in the discount bin 2 weeks later. It's fucking dumb and lazy. I don't know what they're doing over at DC, but they really do not like money. And I don't get it, because they're on the chopping block for discontinuation because of the Warner merger with Discovery. The guy that's running Discovery is known to cut things that don't make money. Hey, Kyle, how's it going? They're using aren't very good anyway. That's true, Kyler. That's true. Manga's laughing at DC, and they should be. This isn't a story. This is boring. I mean, look at this. What story does this tell you other than here's a stupid cape? It looks like a tablecloth, first of all. This is not a story. And all these anthologies, they only have like 8-page stories at most. Some of them are like 2 pages. They're forgettable. They mean nothing. This is done so they can make him wear it in at least one issue, because it's the inside lining of his cape. And then they can say, oh, you have to go get the Pride book in order to see where that came from. Speculators, it's going to be worth a bunch of money. And it's not. It's going to be in a dollar bin faster than you can say Youngblood and Brigade #1. How about representations in their bank account? Because I can't see that shit selling well. It never does. How long before he's a runway model? I'm sure. They had him at a Pride March, so I guess there's that. This is garbage. It's just lazy. If it was at least a decent story, that would be one thing, but they don't want to talk about Buns of Steel crushing some dude's wang You know, I have so many questions, but none of which are appropriate for YouTube, and I really don't want the answer to anyway. But I just think it's lazy. I don't see how this looks. Okay, all if you go and read any of these comics where they have these relationships that are LGBTQ friendly, they look like stereotypes from the 90s or something you would see a caricature of on Daily Stormer. That's what they look like. They are poorly written. They come off as very kind of homophobic and pandering and lazily done. Superman's not supposed to represent any regular person. That's the fucking point. Yeah, he's supposed to be mostly a god. And it's a power fantasy for little kids, not a domination power fantasy for grown up weirdos. So I just don't understand how they think this is going to have longevity because these characters are not interesting. They don't have personalities, they have traits. They don't have struggle. They're all the bestest ever at what they do. And it's really tiresome. It's not worth the money. That's why I don't buy a lot of DC anymore, sadly. I actually went to the comic shop today because it was free comic book day. We'll get to that in a minute. But I spent my entire time. You're allowed 5 comics at most shops, so I picked up my 5 books, and I went and hit the dollar boxes, and I bought $50 worth of books. Thanks for those Streamlab donations, by the way. That's what paid for that. But I didn't buy anything that was from the last 5 years. Everything was older, and there was a lot of really good stuff in there too. I picked up a bunch of Fantastic Fours from like 1998. I got a couple Avengers issues. What else did I get? Some Batmans. Got some Shadow of the Bats. Oh, big stack of stuff. Random stuff too, like some old Starmans from the 80s. Because even though those weren't that great back then, by today's standards, they're amazing. So yeah, I miss those. Miss the books from the 80s. It's not just nostalgic for the years of my youth. How dare you? Stories were objectively better back then. Absolutely, they were. They were. They had much higher standards, and they had cleaner art. A lot less of this sketchy pseudo manga crap that you see now that looks like lazy manga, like the Black Label from DC. I like a lot of the Black Label stuff actually. For a long time, it was just the Harley Quinn and Joker line, and that was really annoying. But I picked up the Question books; those were in the dollar bin too, and those look good. The Suicide Squad Get Joker issues 1 and 2. Issue 3 comes out next week. Those were good. One Dark Knight was good. Batman Damned, I think was pretty good. I don't remember. I only read 1 issue of that, I think. But there's a lot of stuff there that, you know what, I'm willing to pay a couple extra bucks for if it's good. Unfortunately, so much stuff is overpriced for what you're getting. Pay $4 for a regular comic book, it's a ripoff. And I get discounts at most of the comic shops I go to. I'm not paying $4 for that crap. You want me to pay $4 to watch some guy fly around talking about how gay he is? That's boring. That's not action adventure. There better be explosions. When a character struggles, read Berserk. Yeah, I've heard that's good. Speaking of which, the show is brought to you by you. If you're able and willing, please donate. Thank you for dropping the link there, Bubba. Appreciate that. And indeed, if you can, donate to the cause and like, share, and subscribe. All right, next article. Speaking of the 90s, I actually pulled the first 3 issues of this out of a dollar bin a while back. Dale Keown is bringing Pitt back with Phil Diaz. Now, I had Pitt issue 1 back when it came out. I don't think I ever read it, so I found him in a dollar box a while back, and I picked him up. Still haven't read it. Still sitting in a box. Dale Keown's a good artist, though. I remember liking his work. Dale Keown announced he's bringing back Pitt along with Phil Diaz. While appearing on a YouTube stream, Dale Keown revealed the news, which was followed up by Diaz on Twitter. All that stuff is coming back in the new series, said Keown. I mean, I am working with Phil Diaz. We're working on a Pitt story, and he's reading all the issues. It's getting kind of meta. Phil has great ideas. Phil Diaz, this is to you, buddy. I assume he took a drink or something. Diaz added on Twitter late last night, Dale Keown announced that I'll be writing the next Pit series with him for the big comeback. This was on the DL for 8 months. It was such an amazing opportunity that I could not have had without hashtag Comicsgate. Sign up for our first work together. I assume they're doing a fundraiser, crowdfunder. Pit was created nearly 30 years ago, debuting in Pit number 1, November 1993, where the character was a human-alien hybrid created by an alien race known as the Creed to serve as a genetically engineered killing machine. Keown published 20 issues of the series, which ended back in 1995. Dale Keown is part of Comicsgate. You read that right. Dale Keown is part of Comicsgate, which you might have heard about and recognized from former DC Comics Green Lantern artist Ethan Van Sciver, who launched his creator-owned comic book and brand with Cyberfrog, which is like 2 years late, which sold copies in the millions via crowdfunding campaigns and continues to do so. Much like Image Comics back in the day, now various comic book creators have begun to self-publish as they rebel against the mainstream publishing companies, including DC and Marvel, have done to destroy the industry. To be clear, Comicsgate is not a new comic publisher. It's a movement or term to describe, like, yeah, we all know what Comicsgate is. It's fucking internet. Phil Diaz also tweeted that Dale Keown is doing a wraparound cover for CG Vacation, a swimsuit special featuring all the Comicsgate stars. Well, all the current ones. That lineup was destined to change every 10 minutes. Dale Keown happens to be one of my favorite artists. Peter David's Incredible Hulk run. Yeah, his Hulk work was fun. So the news that his Comicsgate's pretty awesome, according to this writer. Other notable, okay, I don't give a shit about other people. So Pitt's coming back, and it's going to be a crowdfunder. So, yep. So if you're a big Pitt fan, there you go. Hey, Frosted, how you doing, man? I wouldn't pay $1.50 for those crappy books. Well, I would pay money to get books that show up. I won't do Kickstarters or Indiegogos anymore unless I've already purchased from them or they've got a track record. Too many of these clowns don't deliver. Even people that have been in the industry for decades don't deliver. So yeah, I don't know, man. I'm tired of these people trying to make it out like they're hot dog vendors that don't deliver hot dogs. Oh, true story, man. A lot of the old stuff from when we were young, Kyler, because I know you're probably about my age, a little younger, I think. It's not that expensive. I picked up some old Avengers issues for like $5 a piece. Perfectly willing to do that. And you can pick up some really good Superman stuff for like $1 to $2 at most mainstream shops. So, and you can even find a lot of that stuff at garage sales. And it's sad that a lot of the old Image stuff, even like Brigade and Youngblood, which I mock relentlessly, were better written than a lot of the new stuff. You're 50? Oh. All right, you got a couple years on me, but huh. Yeah, back in the day, man, the comics were cheap. It was good entertainment. Lots of action. Now it's all sitting around talking about their feelings and boring crap like that. Like little Lifetime movies with tights. Ugh. Boring. What's this link? What is this? Oh yeah. Amber Heard. Yeah, she's a real treat. Give her a fake name, guys. All right, over from Variety, over on MSN. Fred Savage fired from directing and producing The Wonder Years after inappropriate conduct investigation. Did he say good girl to someone? because that's how you keep your job, apparently. Fred Savage, who serves as director and executive producer on ABC's The Wonder Years, has been fired due to the findings of an investigation about his conduct on set. Multiple employees complained about Savage's behavior while working on The Wonder Years, a reboot of the 80s 90s series of the same name that starred Savage as Kevin Arnold. The nature of the complaints remain unclear. However, a spokesman for Disney-owned 20th Century Fox, or 20th Television, confirmed that the allegations were made and that Savage had been terminated. How can you confirm allegations if nobody knows what they are? Statement reads, recently we've been made aware of allegations of inappropriate conduct by Fred Savage. As his policy, an investigation was launched. Due to its completion, the decision was made to terminate his employment as the executive producer and director on The Wonder Years. It's not Savage's first time for news of allegations about his behavior. In 1993, original Wonder Years costume designer Monique Long sued the actor for sexual harassment. People reported that Long said Savage repeatedly told her, "Oh, Monique, I'm so in love with you. Please have an affair with me." Oh, God. Should have had somebody write that. She also said he asked her out on dates and tried to hold her hand. That's weird, but very socially awkward. Allie Mills, who starred alongside Savage, claimed in 2018 the original series cancellation was a result of the suit. Mills called the suit completely ridiculous, saying to Yahoo Entertainment that Savage was the least offensive, most wonderful, sweet human being that ever walked the face of the earth. Well, she obviously never met Winnie. Also in 2018, 20th Century, then called 20th Century Television, whatever, investigated Savage's conduct on the set of The Grinder, where wardrobe team member Yan-Jo Huang alleged the extremely hostile work environment created by Savage, whose aggressive behavior, intimidation, and constant use of profanities aimed toward female employees was left unchecked. Well, don't be a bitch then. In that instance, the studio said it found no evidence of any wrongdoing. None of her claims could be substantiated because they did not happen, Savage said at the time. We cannot let these people in particular denigrate men while harming the message of thousands of women and others who have suffered and continue to suffer. Deadline was the first to report on Savage's firing. It's probably a bunch of nonsense stuff, like somebody's feelings got hurt. Holding hands, that sick bastard. I know. What kind of degeneracy is he into? Oh, nice. So, yep, they fired Kevin from his own show. Lock him up for life. He tried to hold the hand of a woman, you guys. A woman. Ugh, weird. What a degenerate. What a piece of scum. Right? Ugh, he probably smells. Thank you, Amber Turd, who says, "Good girl." You gotta whisper it too, like, "Good girl." Yeah, if she's offended by good girl, it's a good thing you didn't make her call him daddy. Make daddy happy, good girl. That would have probably blown her fucking mind. People are so weird. Next thing you know, he'll be asking women to show a bit of ankle. Right? He's violating all the rules of 18th century courtship. Like a monster. Over at the New York Post, Jennifer Grey will return for Dirty Dancing sequel. It's the next chapter. She looks very different with the nose job. Not gonna lie. And her plastic surgeon must have done a pretty good job. You can see her; she's had some work because this is really smooth and it's wrinkly on her neck. The neck is how you can usually tell. At least that's how it looks in this picture. Don't sue me, bitch. No one puts baby in a corner. Well, babies, they generally don't seem to mind corners that much. I don't know. Jennifer Grey is set to have the time of her life once more. Oh, God. In the sequel to 1987's Dirty Dancing. I don't know how you can do this without Jerry Orbach and Patrick Swayze. Doesn't make any sense to me. Lionsgate held a presentation at CinemaCon in Las Vegas yesterday where they announced the new flick alongside old clips of the romance drama. Jennifer Grey returns to Kellerman's in the next chapter, a voiceover said. Kellerman's was the Catskills resort where Grey's character Frances Baby Houseman and her family vacationed when she met and ultimately fell in love with Dancing and Patrick Swayze's Johnny Castle. Wow, that's an even faker name than the one I use. The world of Dirty Dancing was expanded with two other ill-conceived projects in the past. 2004 saw a prequel flick titled Dirty Dancing Havana Nights that had very little to do with the original film and brought the location to Central America amid the Cuban Revolution in the 1950s. That's weird. That's almost as bad as Baywatch Nights, where they were fighting like paranormal stuff. Swayze, who died in 2009 at the age of 57, made a cameo appearance as a dance class instructor. The prequel garnered poor reviews, however, the soundtrack was pretty satisfactory. ABC then commissioned a made-for-TV Dirty Dancing remake that bombed the ratings with their musical song covers and extra unnecessary scenes to stretch a 3-hour time slot. Wow, I'm glad I missed that. Whispers of Grey's involvement in a potential sequel first hit in 2020 when Deadline reported that Lionsgate CEO John Felterman described the project as one of the worst kept secrets in Hollywood. It will be exactly the kind of romantic, nostalgic movie that the franchise fans have been waiting for and that have made it the biggest selling library title in the company's history, Felterman said in the earnings call at the time. The Ferris Bueller's Day Off actress is dropping her new memoir, Out of the Corner, on May 3rd and went into great detail about her life as one of the top stars of the 1980s. All right, if you write a book, Out of the Corner, it should be written by the guy that played Mike in Blair Witch Project. Ahead of her book release, she spoke to people about getting a nose job shortly after Dirty Dancing premiered. Her mother urged her to undergo a rhinoplasty following the film's release. Maybe you should have done it before the film then. She loves me, loved me, always has, and she was pragmatic because she was saying, guess what? It's hard to cast you. Make it easier for them. And then I did, and she was right, Gray told the outlet. Yeah, nobody recognized you after the nose job. Once she had the second nose job, which she called an anti-rhinoplasty, Gray went to a red carpet event with Michael Douglas, who didn't even recognize her. That was the first time I had gone out in public and became the thing, the idea of being completely invisible from one day to the next. So you were a normal person then. In the world's eyes, I was no longer me. The weird thing was that thing I resisted my whole life, and the thing I was so upset with my mother for always telling me I should do my nose, she said. I really thought it was capitulating. I really thought it meant surrendering to the enemy camp. Surrendering, I can't read. I just thought, I'm good enough. I shouldn't have to do this. That's what I really felt. It's beautiful enough. Yeah, be accepting of who you are. Then you won't look like every other person on Earth. Yeah, so she's coming back for the sequel for all you ladies out there. Dirty Dancing in the 80s was the chick flick that Titanic became in the newer generations. I loved Baywatch Nights. It was so stupid. Yeah, it was a better show. Whispers of Grey sounds like a hair coloring product. It does. Jennifer Grey was never on the corner. This is misinformation. That's true, Frosted. She was never on your show. Yet. Give it time. Give it time. She might be. She doesn't seem to have a lot going on. All right. Now over at, what is this, Dicebreaker? There's an article we didn't get to last week. RuneScape board game Shadow of something. Elvrag announces date for Kickstarter campaign. Everything's going to crowdfunding. Well, there's the box. It's got this picture. Looks okay from the image, but grab your GP reserves and get that armor trimmed to anticipate the launch of RuneScape Kingdoms Shadow of Elvrag, whatever, campaign crowdfunding on May 31st. Steamforged Games, the company adapting the classic online multiplayer RPG for tabletop, yeah, how could that fail, teased a peek at the upcoming board game's box art. Shadow of Elvrag was announced in January alongside the accompanying tabletop RPG adaptation, also designed by Steamforged, that's slated to arrive later in 2021. I think they meant 2022 because this was written a week ago. The board game set players loose in something I can't pronounce to complete cooperative quests, level up their skills, and probably get up to a fair bit of mischief. Wow, that's spectacular writing there. The description in the press release says the board game will prioritize players' agency, just like the RuneScape and old school RuneScape video games, apparently allowing groups to invest in skills and explore paths at their own discretion. The hulking, angry dragon on the cover will serve as the final boss for Shadow of Elvarg. Hint, that's the lizard's name. No shit. I wouldn't have figured that out. Though how the encounter will play out hasn't been detailed. Expect plenty of references to both RuneScape and old RuneScape, the faithful recreation of how the video game looked during the 2001 launch. Steamforged, the company behind Monster Hunter World, the board game, and Dark Souls RPG. What is that? Just like 2 pages of rules and a whole bunch of character sheets? Several other video game adaptations have previously said that dedication to facsimile even means favorite quest lines will make the jump to tabletop. So there's a link to the Kickstarter. It launches on May 31st, and you can sign up for the... it's only going to be 10-day one, so... Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can sign up to get notifications via email. No word on pricing or estimates. It'll be over $100, guaranteed. These things almost always are. Hey, James, how you doing, man? Oh, thanks, Assassin, for linking that. How's it going? All right, so that's a RuneScape board game coming out for those of you that want some nostalgia, but in board game form for when the apocalypse happens and none of us have electricity anymore, thanks to 50 billion EMP blasts or whatever. All right, let's see. Next up, we've got there's a new Kickstarter by toy legend Paul Hardy called Ninja Shadow and Blood. And quite frankly, it looks very, very retro. This is from Bleeding Cool. Legendary toy sculptor Paul Harding has easily loaded out most collectors' shelves with his work. Whether you collect Marvel Legends, DC Essentials, G.I. Joe, Diamond Select, and so much more, you at least own one of his pieces. However, Paul is taking his company Future Cyborg to Kickstarter as he launches a new set of retro-inspired 3.75 figures. Inspired by Kenner, toy collectors can now build up some ninja clans with the new Ninja Shadow and Blood line. These classic figures are perfect for army building and will feature a nice assortment of accessories that are placed on a sweet card back. Here they are here. We'll look at the actual Kickstarter in a second. It's got a goal of $45,000. It's currently just shy of $8,000. I think it's past that. So, yeah. There's the sculpts, and we're going to look at this real quick because this actually looks kind of fun. Yeah, it's at $8,500 with a $45,000 goal. 25 days left. So here's the figure, $17. Now, these are the same prices as the reaction figures from Super 7. They look about the same quality based on the images. Actually, probably a little more detailed. And they have the same functionality. The head moves, the arms move, the legs move. And in this case, the torso moves a little bit too. So here's Shadow Clan Ninja. You get all these sweet accoutrements. And a backpack that puts them all on there. You can buy a set for $87 if you want Snake Eyes to take them all out at once. There's also the Blood Ninja Clan. Look at those crazy eyes. I had a girlfriend that looked like that. And it's slightly different. See, this one doesn't have, the different symbol thing. This one doesn't have the symbol. He's got crazy eyes. But just like the old Kenner figures, they're basically the same. And they have little masks and whatnot, but all these things attached to this. So here's the backpack loadout. So you can fit the comma on there, and the bow, and the sword, and the sai, and the grappling hook. These actually look kind of cool, I'm not going to lie. And then unlocked at 50K is the Forest Clan Ninja. So I hate when they do this crap, because if I wanted the Forest Clan Ninja only, I can't order them now. I have to wait till other people order stuff, and then maybe I can get it. Looks like he's got a replacement head, so there's that too. But same backpack and equipment. Then there's the River Clan Ninja, who has the same head except for the goatee. There's some story crap I don't care about. Smoke Clan Ninja. Looks like Firefly. Then there's a Ghost Ninja, Smoke Ninja variant, Ghost Ninja variant, River Ninja variant, and Ghost Ninja variant all unlocked at different price points. Here's the articulation. Neck, shoulders, waist. Oh, the forearms spin too, and the hips. The old Kenner ones was just the arms and the legs. Maybe the neck if you were super lucky. How's that crowdfund legal? They're plagiarizing rules from 2 different game systems. They may have licensed it. I'm not sure. It sounds like Steamforge licensed the video game. I don't know if they licensed the old RuneScape RPG. Dude, the eyes on the red one. It's Amy from Amy's Baking Company. So yeah, it looks pretty cool, but they're expensive. So here he is posing them. Some pretty good articulation, actually, considering what they're going for there. So here's the background board. This is what it's going to look like in the blister pack. I have to admit, this does look pretty cool. Yeah, there's a Star Wars figure, and there's a Snake Eyes looking figure. That's their mold. So yeah, it's about the same size as regular G.I. Joe toy. Star Wars. Yeah, there's Lando, old school Lando. And is that Zema? So if you need some bad guys for your stuff, there you go. So I'll drop the Kickstarter link in there if anybody wants to check that out. Ghost Ninja Clan clear plastic, that'd be funny. Meh, looks cheap. It's supposed to. I've got a couple of the new Marvel toys that are that retro look. They're actually pretty decent quality, which surprised me because they kind of look like the old Star Wars toys, but those old Star Wars toys did hold up pretty well. Because I used the crap out of those. The legs would wobble after enough use, but they still held up pretty well. So you looks cheap. You're not the boss of me. $17 for a $5 figure. Nope. Yeah, it's nostalgia bait. It's total nostalgia bait. If they were smart, they'd have these figures for $5 or $6. But they don't do that anymore because toys are very expensive to manufacture, and if you don't buy a lot of them, they end up being very expensive. Because just getting the mold by itself is like $5,000, even through the Chinese companies. So yeah, it's not surprising they're expensive like that. I don't know why they're charging so much for these retro figures, other than the fact they know that adults will buy them for nostalgia purposes. All right, let's laugh at Disney for a minute. Disney always put their foot in it with that so-called "Don't Say Gay" bill in Florida, and they've pissed off a bunch of Republicans. So, Channel 7 WTRF in Wheeling is reporting U.S. Senator will introduce legislation to end Disney's copyright protection. The reason we have such long-term copyright protection is because of Disney. They have been effectively writing copyright law for like 40 years now, probably longer, just to protect the mouse and various other nonsense they own. Like Snow White, the look of Snow White and Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, they own that. They own Mickey Mouse, of course, Donald Duck, Goofy, all that stuff. Earlier this week, U.S. Senator Josh Hawley said he plans to introduce legislation to end Disney's copyright protections. Hawley took to Twitter to let his feelings be known and his plan. For years, Disney has gotten special copyright protections from the federal government, allowing them to charge consumers more. Woke corporations shouldn't be getting sweetheart deals. I'll introduce legislation this week to end their special protections. Enough is enough. Since the tweet, Hawley has not gone into specifics on what details the legislation will contain. The Copyright Term Extension Act of 1998 extended corporate copyright protections to 75 years, from 75 years to 95 years, keeping Mickey Mouse under Disney's control until at least 2024. Disney is not the only company that has this protection order. Most big companies do. So Hawley's going to introduce legislation probably to just not renew this, and the Steamboat Willie version of Mickey will enter public domain. You'd think with the CNC you could bust out a mold set for next to nothing. I think 3D printing is going to make that a lot cheaper, but for now it's still a lot more expensive. That guy's a jackass. They have the copyrights. Who else is this guy going to take copyright away from him? They're not taking it away per se. They just not renew it because Disney's been lobbying. So how it works is before 1986, if you had a copyright, you had to renew your copyright every several years. And in 1986, they changed that so it was a set period of time, which was like 20 years. And then in 1998, they extended it to 70 years for individuals and from 75 to 95 years for corporations. So because their copyright is due to run out, he's basically going to say that corporations have to follow the same copyright guidelines as people, is my guess. And it's not stripping them of it so much as not giving them special benefits, because as it is, they get an extra 20 years over what the average citizen can get. Set of molds would take a couple of weeks of machining time, plus you have to account for the time it takes to program each type. Yeah, I don't know anything about molding, so I looked into it once a long time ago just to learn how it worked, and it was very complicated. How many movies are public domain simply because they forgot to renew? Night of the Living Dead is the perfect example. They never copyrighted that film. So they forgot to do that, and boom, public domain. They by the time they realized that, it was too late to do anything about it, and they lost it. There's a lot of movies and TV shows too that have fallen into public domain because the rights were confusing, or whoever owned the rights forgot, etc. So yeah, and that's why they went to this new system where newer stuff that's copyrighted has a time limitation. Instead of having to renew it every like 5 or 6 years, they just say, all right, you have this until 70 years after the death of the author or death of the creator, or for the corporation, it's 95 years. A lot of things are in public domain in weird ways, like Tarzan. You can write a Tarzan book, but you can't put Tarzan in the title because the trademark is owned still, but the character is public domain. So yeah, there's a lot of weird nuances with copyright and trademark, but Disney's been on the forefront of extending that. DC Comics was too for a long time because of Superman. Superman's within about 10 years of falling into public domain. Batman's pretty similar too for their earliest appearances. Not the way they are now, but their early appearances. We saw that with Captain Marvel for 1 year. He was out of trademark, and somebody did a Captain Marvel comic book about a guy that was like detachable. It was really dumb. So there's been a lot of weird cases like that, but Disney's trying to protect their main character base, which they really don't do much with anyway, beyond the parks and merchandise. Yeah, it used to be a lot more complicated, check. They have simplified the system quite a bit under the Digital Millennium Copyright Act and the 1988 copyright laws. I had to sue I almost sued someone for copyright infringement because of one of my books. And it's a very expensive and in-depth process, and you need a copyright attorney for that because it is really fucking complicated. But the older stuff, anything before I think it's 1923 in the United States is considered public domain. It's different in different places because like Peter Pan is still under copyright in the UK, but not in the States. So if you're going to publish a Peter Pan book, do it in the United States. So there's a lot of different country laws too, but the US is the largest one. Lawyer bullshit, yeah. Saying bad drag, like Sony in the MCU. Yeah, Sony. Oh my god, their effective pseudo ownership of the Spider-Man film rights is really fucking over MCU. But they also have access to pretty much every Spider-Man character that they do nothing with except make shit movies. Speaking of shit properties, though, let's jump over and look at some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle stuff. According to comicbook.com, how Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles brought back Venus, its most controversial character. Venus, the most controversial character in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle history, is back. Spoilers. This is from the new Free Comic Book Day issue. So yeah, heads up if I don't think anybody reads this book anymore because it got really dumb. So the character was introduced in the live-action Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Next Mutation series. Her creation was a significant factor in forming the rift between Turtles creator Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird. She became the scapegoat for the Next Mutation's failure. That thing failed for a lot of reasons, which is considered the final death knell for the Turtle Mania era that was the peak of the franchise's popularity. Yeah. But now Venus is back, but with a different origin than fans might have expected. The stigma around Venus was bad enough when Image Comics began publishing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in 1996. One of the only instructions they got from the creators was no female turtles. The current IDW publishing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series broke that curse, introducing the new turtle, Jenica, to a warm reception from fans. That's bullshit. That was incredibly controversial among the 3 guys at the comic shop I go to that read that title. They thought it was stupid. And they reverse mutated. It was a human that became a turtle. And she got her own miniseries, and the regular book series became all about Jenica for a long time. It was really stupid. But the author has a lot of issues around that sort of thing. That success seems to have encouraged the creative team behind the longest-running Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series, including Sophie Campbell, Tom Waltz, and Eastman, to reclaim Venus's reputation. So you get this weird look, right? Okay, what's going on here? And thus, Venus returned in the closing pages of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 127. This week's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 128 delves further into her origin. Venus isn't a turtle, or she didn't start that way. She was one of the Punk Frogs, a rival mutant group who somehow ended up in the back alley clinic of the mysterious Jasper Barlow. Barlow conducts surgical body modifications. Former humans mutated against their will. Barlow cut the frog up, sewed her back together, and renamed her Venus. He also grafted an artificial shell to her body, which contains some of the scales from a dragon god that came to New York City. Don't ask. Which is how she survived the procedure. The scale also gives her unique psychic powers because she's got to be the best, guys. She's going to be the best turtle that isn't a real turtle. This story arc continues. But Venus also appeared in the Free Comic Book Day Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2022. The bulk of the free comic is dedicated to Sophie Campbell playing homage to Eastman and Laird by recreating the story from the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1. But it ends with Venus showing up, the Rat King's visage hovering behind her, wondering what is happening. The moment suggests that Venus has a significant role in the Turtles' upcoming Armageddon game event story. Now, a little background here. I was buying Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for a while, and I stopped because, first of all, I wasn't anywhere near caught up with it. But they got into having a battle of the bands, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm not. I'm out. I'm not even reading this book. Why am I buying it?" And they're doing a battle of the bands. What is this? 1998, and you're a fucking 15-year-old writing a fanzine. Also, the book became about Jenica, like I said, and now this character is being introduced as an allegory because Sophie Campbell's trans. So it looks like this is just a trans allegory. Yet again, at least this is slightly subtle, but it's going to be all about this character and probably going to have a lesbian relationship with Jenica. I don't know. It's going to be fucking stupid. So if that's something you're interested in, fine. But Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles has been going downhill for a long time. And this looks like it's just a step closer toward putting IDW out of business. This is just lazy. Yep. Yep. Trans species character, BG. Yep. This sounds ridiculous. But yeah. Yep. Mary Sue Venus. Yeah, pretty much. That's what it's going to be. She's the best ever. Yeah, Peter, you're not wrong. So, yeah, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is going full bore ridiculous. It was already pretty ridiculous before that. When I jumped in like the 70s issues, it was like issue 77. I did one review on it, and I bought several issues after that. That issue was pretty good. I thought wasn't bad. It was a decent, readable, almost kids book, aimed at like high schoolers, I would guess, and it seemed fine. But as time went on, they replaced the writers, and when they brought Sophie Campbell in, it just got really intolerable. And it's not because of her identity; it's because she seems to be one of those people that can't do anything except write about themselves in the book. Selling TMNT is hard enough without putting things in which alienate fans. Yeah, and it shouldn't be that difficult. The Turtles are beloved. They've been around for over 30 years now. And there's no reason you shouldn't be able to sell a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles book. I mean, the crossovers with Batman were all good. They've done some really good crossover stuff. They had Yojimbo in several of them. There's been some really, really good Turtles books, and they keep screwing it up in the last several years. Identity is not a premise. Exactly. It's also not a personality. They have to fuck everything up. They do. And if you're enjoying the show, please hit the like button, share it on your social media, and subscribe if you haven't. If you're feeling generous, you can toss me a couple bucks at the Streamlabs link going through the chat now, pinned at the top of the chat and in the description. There's also Ko-Fi and Patreon. Never check the Ko-Fi because nobody's ever given me anything over there. But yeah, so I don't know. IDW is in a tight spot. You think they'd be trying harder. That last Ronin story looked pretty good. I've got those issues. I haven't read it yet, but it looked really good. The art's solid. I think Kevin Eastman did the art for it. But I don't know what they're doing. Okay, so from this annoying news to some good news, if you're a Yu-Gi-Oh player, I don't know. We got any Yu-Gi-Oh players in the chat? When I was running my comic shop, my business partner was doing the game side, right? Did you lose monetization? No, I'm on the other channel. I'm monetized on the regular channel, not on this one, because I swear too much on this channel. Identifies somebody who likes and gives Jax money. Yeah, absolutely, Merle. So when I was running the shop, and this was circa 2007, 2006 maybe, we would do Friday Night Magic, and we had a couple of Yu-Gi-Oh tournaments, but we stopped doing the Yu-Gi-Oh tournaments because it got creepy. Most of the people that show up would be like 40-year-old dudes, like big fat creepy looking dudes that smelled like butthole, and they would try and beat up on 7-year-olds in a card game. It was weird. NFT scene reminds me of comic investing scene in the 90s. That's a good point. I go by Zervems, you big. Ramming at light. Yeah, you're not wrong, BG. And it's sad, too, because there's a lot of really good indie stuff out there right now. But, yeah, we quit doing the Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournaments because it got creepy. We had a bunch of, like, middle schoolers sitting at a table playing, and then some big fat dude would come up and flop his fat ass down and be like, "Oh, you guys will play?" Oh, it's creepy weird. Hey, Johnny. Well, now IGN is reporting Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournaments to penalize players for being smelly. That's about time. It only took 20 years. Konami is cracking down on poor hygiene in its official Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG tournaments with the implementation of a new rule that penalizes players if they or their clothes are dirty or bad smelling. The new rule, posted to official Yu-Gi-Oh! Blog as part of a wider tournament policy update, can be found under a subsection labeled Hygiene. It reads, "This is a new section requiring all persons attending a tournament to be clean and wear clean clothes. If you or your clothing is excessively dirty or bad smelling, you can be penalized." The new rule appears to be a welcome policy update, judging by players' reactions online. A post linking to the new policy on the Yu-Gi-Oh! Subreddit, that makes me sad, is overwhelmingly, if not entirely, filled with messages of support. Best timeline, reads the post top comment. Another comment, however, posts a valid question. How will the smell rule be enforced? It's likely that it will be left to the discretion of the judges, though the subjectivity of stink may lead to controversy. Dude, no. If the judge walks by and goes, "You smell," and you smell, boom, you're penalized. They could take a vote at the table. Does this fat dude smell like fat dude? That post was written by a fat guy that smells. I guarantee it. Or the kid that never showers on the school bus. You can stay here stinking up the place, but we'll dock you a few points, right? You're not wrong, Assassin. Yeah, it's a kid's game. They became teachers. Yeah, you're probably not wrong, Dangerous. They may have been teachers then too. There are no players left in the tournament. Yeah, you can get an edge on your fellow players by just taking a shower. Richard, I think that qualifies as getting docked points. Yeah. I went to see the Broly movie in theaters, and the smell wasn't great either. Yes, but that sounds about right. So yeah, that's the Yu-Gi-Oh! Update. I saw that and I couldn't pass that up. That's some good stuff. Only took them 20 years to do that. All right, let's jump over to Bounding into Comics. The ever controversial John Della Rose is set to sue Game Manufacturers Association after they suspended him for hate speech and bullying. He did win a lawsuit recently against somebody else for something similar, for bad-mouthing him, some convention. So this kind of tracks with his record. Novelist and comic book creator John Della Rose announced he plans to sue the Game Manufacturing Association, GAMA, after the organization suspended him for hate speech and bullying. GAMA used to just be like, "Hey, join us," and it's like a networking thing, and they would do conventions and stuff like that. It didn't used to be so political. I do like this cover, by the way. See the asshole judge wanting to fuck with people. Yeah, 99% of the time it's going to be used properly. Oh, there's always one person that's going to screw it up. After being accepted as a member of the GAMA, Della Rose introduced himself to the group's private Facebook group. He wrote, "Thank you, everyone, for the warm welcome. I'm very excited to be working with TGG Games, as well as starting the process and design of my own card game. For those who don't know me, I'm John Del Rose, the leading Hispanic voice in science fiction. I'm a #1 best-selling author and award-winning comic creator, and I've loved board games my whole life." He went on to detail some of the works he's previously done. "I've done some small work in the sphere doing lore and art direction for AEG, for their Doomtown Reloaded, as well as some lore work for The Captain is Dead, which are both excellent games. Doomtown Reloaded is supposed to be really good. I've got a copy around here somewhere for Roll for Sandy, but I haven't opened it yet. But the art on it does look really good. I've also written the novelization for Star Realms. Next, he shared some of his favorite games. Card games are my favorites, which is why I'm designing one, with my faves being Summoner Wars, Star Realms, Doomtown, Imperial Settlers, and Ashes Reborn. My family also likes to play some medium weight board games like Paladins of the West Kingdoms, Five Tribes, Above and Below, to name a few. What, no terraforming Mars? Sorry, this is unacceptable. Delarose concluded, just sinking my teeth into industry work, and I hope I can make this a nice chunk of my career, along with my hit books and comics, to help make board gaming the most diverse and inclusive place possible. Cheers. In response to this post, Rodney Smith, who runs the YouTube channel Watch It Played, wrote, John says below that he's here to help make board gaming the most diverse and inclusive place possible. Perhaps some of you might want to watch this video from John. And the video is there any DC character who isn't gay? Yeah, we'll get to Green Lantern here in a minute. Oh, this video makes me want to watch. Smith concluded, when referring to characters of DC who have come out as gay or pansexual, John says they're so tied into weird identity spirals that they don't have any normal people. Who are the normal people, John? Who are the abnormal, John? Oh, how much time do you have, Mr. Smith? He then questioned, perhaps the Gamma board game members can let us know who they think the normal people are. Oh, you're just trying to get him canceled now, you dick. Next, Smith took issue with another of Del Rose's YouTube videos, rating this top 5 hottest board game reviewers. Look, I have some issues with Del Rose, but that's funny shit. I do like a lot of his books. I'll give him that. I know him and Sixth Combat, who does the Napalm Brothers, which is a great book. They had a big falling out. I'm not choosing sides on that, but I like both their work quite a bit, and I would recommend their books. I don't know anything about them as people, so I try and draw that distinction as usual between the art and the artist. Perhaps the Gamma board members could let us know who they think the hottest board game reviewers are. Yeah, I'd be interested in that, because I'd be one of them, I hope. Take a look through John's YouTube channel to get a sense of how he wants to contribute to diversity and inclusion in the hobby. This guy's totally trying to get him canceled. He concluded, I'll await the hit piece video John will now be fueled to make about me because of this post. Oh, you feel special, don't you? Or will he feel compelled not to because I've called for it? Who can say? His reaction is irrelevant to me. Obviously not. I'm mostly curious about the reaction of other Gamma members. Smith would claim on Twitter his post was actually removed by Gamma Facebook moderators while reposting it. He claimed, I made a post today but to the Gamma Facebook group after seeing that John Bergen had hired John Del Rose and both were now Gamma members. The post was removed by moderators for violating posting rules, so I'm posting it here in the hopes that other Gamma members see it. You're just a dick. The second post he added, who Gamma keeps as its members in their business is their business, but members should be aware who they're welcoming to their club. Oh, you should be aware. Oh, thanks, Karen. If they know and are cool with it, fine. At least we and they then know what's acceptable conduct from their industry partners. Oh, God, you're in high school. He concluded also, in case it's not clear, John's YouTube video about who the hottest reviewers are is not talking about hotness in the way gamers generally use it to describe particular games. He's using it the other way. Oh my God, how dare we judge people by their physical attractiveness? Monsters. Does this sound like a fat person to you? Because it sounds like it's me. We can sense our own. Gamma's Twitter account would respond to Smith on Twitter, noting they were investigating the situation and explained why Smith's original post was removed. They tweeted, full disclosure, we are investigating. We removed the post to avoid a flame war between members, which is prohibited on our Facebook group. That's totally reasonable. I hope that makes it clear. They would encourage Smith to lodge a formal complaint, tweeting, code of conduct is here with a form to complain. I understand it looks bad and slow, but all organizations need a due process. Feel free to fill it in. Gamma member Eric Lang would also react to Smith's post being removed from the Facebook group by describing De La Rosa as a serial harasser. He tweeted after learning that Rodney Smith's post highlighting a serial harasser's pattern of abuse and violations was erased. I followed up with Gamma. I don't know who any of these assholes are. Let's be clear, though, this is not a Gamma is the enemy post. So you kind of try and sound that way. It is a renewed public reminder that harassers don't disappear. He then proceeded to share a screenshot of a post he shared to their Facebook group. It reads, welcoming a member who has been banned from multiple social media platforms for hate speech violations. Hate speech doesn't exist in the United States. In a pattern of public attacks on minority creators. He is a minority creator. So I don't know how that progressive stack works. Leading to their harassment and then silencing a post from a highly respected content creator warning about his behavior pattern using clear citations is not conducive to a safe environment to our minority members. Oh, won't someone think of the brown people? Fuck off. Everybody seems to want to protect people that don't ask for being protected. I understand the need for decorum and process, but on matters of harassment like this, I urge the matter to be taken urgently and in good faith by the leadership, he concluded. Oh, get over yourself. Lang would continue this thread tweeting, industry spaces, especially in trade, are very hard to moderate, and I don't envy Gamma's responsibility in this. However, they must be. A good faith vetting process is required and is accountability, plus swift corrective action when there's a mistake. Oh, you made a mistake. Don't make us point out. Don't make us do something. Ugh. This is nothing new, by the way. It's part of a pattern. Harassers will often meticulously attempt to sneak into public spaces under false pretenses. If it's a public space, you don't need a false pretense, asshole. Particularly under the guise of being one of the good guys. They rely on two things: leadership, passivity, and overreaction. This sounds like an overreaction. He didn't say anything inappropriate in his post. I happen to forgive and forget. There's no redemption with these people. Once you're labeled something, you're always that thing. Forever. You've been branded. You'll be ostracized. Yeah, these people are all complainers. And yeah, I agree with you, Eagle. Next, he tweeted, leadership passivity allows them to thrive in public space without accountability for their abuse. And overreaction gives them fuel to cry bullshit like cancel culture. Well, if you're not allowing them in a public space, that kind of would be cancel culture, don't you think? And gather reactionaries under their banner, but silence is not an option. Inaction is not an option. I can picture him crying while he typed this. Some recommendations. Please don't name or signal boost harassers, Lang wrote, and definitely do not engage with them. That's exactly what they want. You're engaging right now by trying to cancel him. They'll use clever takedown as fuel for their cancel culture narrative. Block, block, block. If you're trying to get him booted from a group, that is canceling him. It bears restating, even on the timeline of a content creator under fire, it's not helping them for you to own their harasser. It helps the harasser. Best harm reduction, block the troll, all their followers, and all who like the harassing post. Gamma would eventually announced, no, that D is not required. That De La Rosa was suspended for 28 days for violating the group's rules on hate speech and bullying. Where? You haven't shown that he's done any of that. Although they did not provide any specific examples. So they banned him for no fucking reason. The organization tweeted earlier today, it came to the attention of Gamma staff, that a new member was involved in many instances of behavior and activities that are in violation of our Facebook group rules that he allegedly did before he ever joined your group. You're punishing him for past crimes that he's already been punished for by being booted off social media. During this time, the involved accounts have been suspended for up to 28 days due to their violation of rule number 8, hate speech and bullying. They added, next they announced a new code of conduct. Oh, changing the rules to fit the need. As a note, Gamma has instituted a new code of conduct. You can find information here with ways to voice your concerns. We value health and safety of our membership. Health and safety from mean words. Jesus, you're pussies. and will continue to monitor the situation closely. Del Rose then announced he does plan on suing Gamma. He tweeted, "I will 100% sue them for libel if they're going to go down this route and mess with me when all I did was say hello and express interest in making games." And you know what? That's probably going to be the most effective way to handle this. He would also adjust the suspension on his YouTube channel, saying, "I think it's important to speak out. I think it's important to say this kind of behavior is not acceptable in the industries. And I think it's important to be a voice for an alternative so that people can know they are not alone out there against these mobs." He further added, if you just say these guys are harassing somebody for no reason, they can't do this anymore. They lose their power. That's what they're desperately afraid of, and that's what they push so hard." Yeah, I agree. A lot of these people just have no real power. They're just cry bullies. Del Rose previously sued Worldcon 76 after they attempted to label him a racist. Worldcon 76 chair Kevin Roach issued an apology to Del Rose as part of the settlement with him. SFSFC acknowledged the importance of reputation, especially for a relatively new author, and regrets its public statement about barring his attendance might have led people unfamiliar with Mr. Del Rose and his work to infer that he is or was a racist. They almost explicitly said he was a racist. It was real easy to infer that from what they had said. So that's a wishy-washy fucking apology. He continued for that. SFSFC apologizes. This attendance ban was specific to the Worldcon 76 events produced by SFSFC, and Mr. Del Rose has the same opportunity as other members of the public to register for future SFSFC events. Worldcon 76 does not tolerate discrimination in any form, including blah, blah, blah. They paid him $4,000. So that's probably the $4,000 he's going to file this lawsuit with. But if they're going to suspend him for something he didn't do, that's pretty shitty. And yeah, sue him. Because they're banning him off of allegations from other people. It's a bit ridiculous. Oh, they absolutely are bullying, Louis. This is the worst kind of schoolyard bullying. It's lazy. So, yeah, good on him if he's suing him. I don't care. They banned him to shut up the crybaby. Yep. They only feel that's true. It won't work. Cry bullies just get bolder when you try to appease them. Absolutely. And then they'll do it with more people. And then they do these purity spirals where nobody ever can win because somebody will always say something that some jackass finds offensive or infers something in it and finds it in the penumbra. Hey, Q. Cancel culture will eventually come for you. Absolutely. They always do. So, yeah, that's what's going on there. They tried to cave to the cry bullies, and that didn't really work. Thank you, Chenk, who donated and said, "The tail is wagging, so I should go in." Gross, dude. Gross. If you get that reference, I'm not explaining that. If you don't get it, just look up Cenk Uyghur and his advocacy of animal love. Do not punish a student that has been tattled on without seeing the incident firsthand. This will encourage the tattler to continue telling on others and not simply report serious problems. Absolutely. I call these people Dougie diapers. When I was in Boy Scouts, there was this kid named Dougie, and he would tattle on everything, no matter how innocuous, just to get attention from adults. Oh, somebody would say, "What have you guys been up to?" We'll say, "Nothing." And then, "Well, they went for a hike, and then they kicked some rocks, and he picked up a rock and he kept it." Uh-huh. And I was like, "Oh my God, shut up, you're annoying." That's what these people are. They're tattletales. All right, next up. From ICV2. WizKids reveals Batman team-up miniatures game for DC Comics HeroClix. There's Fred with his hand down the front of his pants, Al Bundy style. WizKids revealed Batman team-up miniatures game for DC Comics HeroClix, which will release in December 2022. In this new miniatures game, Mystery Inc. is going head-to-head with Teen Titans Go in a race to gather clues. This HeroClix Miniatures game features characters from both franchises, such as Scooby-Doo, Shaggy, Fred, Velma, and Daphne, as well as Teen Titans, Robin, Starfire, Raven, Beast Boy, and Cyborg. But no word on Scrappy. The game includes 8 thrilling campaign scenarios and brand new mystery cards. The objective of the game is to explore the map and gather clues and earn bonuses and rewards. The game box comes with multi-session campaign, 10 premium pre-painted miniatures, 20 character cards, 6 object tokens, 6 double-sided map tiles, 2 mystery cards, 2 custom Batman team-up 6-sided dice, 2 power and ability cards, and a full HeroClix Core Rulebook 2022 edition, or retail for $70. So let's take a look at the pics. You got creepy looking Robin with big head. I hate this art style. I really do. There's Fred. There's Starfire. Velma. At least the Mystery Inc. people look normal. Beast Boy. So yeah, that's a new game coming out at the end of the year. Hopefully it comes out before Christmas, but I doubt it. I knew a few of those as a kid. Yeah, and they grow up, and unfortunately they're still dumbasses and narcs. Tattling over it. Oh, he said something that hurt my feelings. Grow up. All right, let's jump over to some. Fred was the quarterback, Daphne was the rich girl, Velma was the nerdy chick, and Shaggy was the beatnik. 2 couples solving crimes. What could be better? That's a good question. Probably hot sex. I don't know. Clayface rumored for the Batman Penguin spinoff. The villain of the Batman spin-off series focuses on Colin Farrell's Penguin, may stand revealed as it could be Clayface. According to the rumor, to go with Matt Reeves' grounded and realistic approach, the Clayface used in the Penguin series will not be the blob-like shape-shifting version, but the Golden Age Clayface. Casting call has been posted to 4chan. Yeah, that sounds reliable. And while it isn't always reliable, no shit. Although if anybody's on the case, it's 4chan. A Batman fan site happened to tease the use of the Golden Age Clayface as well, so it adds up. Nah, really. Regarding the casting call and Clayface, a description for the character sounds a lot like the original Golden Age Clayface from the comics, Basil Carlo, who first appeared in Detective Comics number 40 back in 1940. Actor who was driven mad when he heard he couldn't participate in a play due to his deformed face. In the comics, Basil Carlo isn't a shape-shifting blob, but an actor was driven insane when he hears that a remake of the classic horror film he starred in, Dread Castle, would be shot without him acting in the film, even though he is the one to be one of the advising staff. So Carlo dons the mask of a villain he starred in a previous movie, Clayface, and begins killing the actors playing characters he killed in the order and way they die in the film. Again, we see that Matt Reeves is apparently going with a grounded approach to the Batman villain, similar to the way he did with the Riddler, Jigsaw, in what sounds like another detective story to find the Clayface killer. What remains to be seen is how things tie in with Colin Farrell's Penguin. Additional characters in Penguin series for HBO are described as handsome, charming, very physically fit, and incredibly ambitious gangster. Wealthy socialite who's a cruel father and abusive husband. Supportive but tired wife reluctantly dealing with abusive husband and his troubled son. Casting call also describes Penguin series as a spin-off of the Batman, described as a Scarface-like series about the rise of the Penguin character. Penguin, otherwise known as Oswald Chesterfield Cobblepot, is a dapper mob boss and one of Batman's primary villains. So the Golden Age Clayface, not this one. Why this picture's here, I don't know. That could be really interesting. So if you liked Matt Reeves' Batman, this might be worth looking at. Yeah, you're not wrong, BG. The shortages are getting ridiculous. 2 more victims of the woke. Yeah, Bill Murray and Fred Savage. I mean, you get canceled over the dumbest crap these days. Yeah, Assassin, I saw that, and it is really funny. I would watch that movie. All right, let's talk about that Green Lantern thing that was referenced in the other article that John Delarose made a video on. This from Bleeding Cool. Grant Morrison on woke Green Lantern being pansexual as Captain Kirk. Last week, Bleeding Cool took note of a 2-week-old Xandom Substack by Grant Morrison in which they, remember he's non-binary, described writing Hal Jordan as pansexual given the amount of involvement with all manner of alien beings. You can still be straight and deal with people that are different than you. I don't know if you knew that, Grant, but that's a thing. After which, all sorts of websites like Screen Rant, Comic Book, and others suddenly noticed it too. So did the pearl clutching YouTube channels and the like, back of hand to forehead, declaiming the vapors. Don't think that sentence is right. Grant Morrison addressed the 3-week delayed response to their Substack today as part of their look back at their revelatory Green Lantern Season 2 run with Liam Sharp. I have those, I haven't read them. They weren't that compelling, so they just sat there. I mentioned in a previous episode how I wanted to casually hint at Hal Jordan's pansexual nature, but I was a little surprised to hear reports of a sudden flurry of raised voices, all in spite of shadowing absolute zero interest in anything else I've ever had to say. It's because you're boring. Suddenly finding the energy and motivation to express what can only be described as stern disapproval regarding my wholly innocuous proposition. I sympathize with those who feel crumbling walls of past certainties threatened by implacable tides of modernity, and I understand as well as any other the appeal of distracting trivia at a time of global instability and existential hazard. But I was never my intention to cause outrage. Oh, I think it was, because I didn't even know you had a Substack, and unfortunately now I know that. Grant then listed all manner of romantic entanglements of Hal Jordan Green Lantern with alien species over the years, from all manner of creators from the 60s to today, stating to advance the suggestion that spacefaring Lothario Hal Jordan might be every bit as pansexual as, say, Captain Kirk, when the in-canon evidence of his liaisons with non-human creatures over the decades is irrefutable, would seem to be less provocation, more simple observation. But all of those aliens were presented as female. There was nothing to indicate they had like weird shit down there. So to say he's pansexual, kind of dumb. Also, this art sucks. There are characters who've been around since before many of us were born. I didn't create them or their backstories. I only draw attention to what was always there or that you read into. As it was inadvertently point out that many of the same so-called progressive ideas, complete with predictable reactionary responses, have been with us on repeat since the dawn of human history. And here's John Broome talking about loving the alien way back in 1965, Hal Jordan the Green Lantern, romancing xenomorphs since the Beatles were working on Help. Yeah, that's nonsense. Look, a lot of these gender weirdos can't see anything other than their own junk. I don't know why they're so obsessed with sex. It's really, really weird and kind of uncomfortable. But to say they're pansexual is dumb because everybody Kirk banged was a female. Everybody Hal Jordan banged was a female. They didn't bang tentacle monsters. They didn't bang anything with like weird orifices or anything. If they act as if these characters were always LGBT, because that's how they read it. They find themselves in everything. It's very narcissistic. Green Lantern was my favorite superhero as a kid. Yeah, he was cool back then. Pansexual is a thing. Just say bisexual. Well, that implies that these people's made up non-binary thing isn't real. It's not just that they're obsessed because they never get any. It's that they have no personalities most of the time. So they have nothing else to go on. They don't have personalities to talk about anything interesting. They're not fun to be around. They're a bunch of complainers and fun sponges. Yeah, these people are fictional. But hey, you want to continue to tank your own industry? You go right ahead, idiot. You don't like eating, I guess. All right, let's look at some Japanese news. That's because it's bollocks? Yeah, you're not wrong. All right, Japan Today is reporting Baskin-Robbins Japan teams up with Dragon Quest for game-inspired ice cream and slime candy. I don't really know what Dragon Quest is, but this looks, it's ice cream. I like ice cream. Tokyo, Dragon Quest Square Enix long-running fantasy series has different characters and stories with every release, but one creature is sure to make an appearance, the slime. This little guy has become the face of the series, so he often takes center stage in brand collaborations. Now Dragon Quest has teamed up for the first time with ice cream purveyors Baskin-Robbins to bring some icy slime-inspired treats to Japan. Japan is one of the greatest places on earth. It's like being in the land of Oz with hot Asian chicks. The slime-themed ice cream has been dubbed Hoimi flavor. That is the spelling from the Japanese version of the games used in order to heal the characters and regain health points. This taste has been created with apple-flavored sorbet marbled in with creamy vanilla ice cream. Okay, that sounds kind of good. The slimes make their appearance as soda-flavored gummy candy. The overall effect gives them the look of fantasy game terrain with several slimes hopping about, just waiting to be battled. Oh, it looks delicious. Looks like the Candyman from the Happiness Patrol episode of Doctor Who. Just like the healing spell from the game, the treat will perk up fans and have them shouting out, "Hoi me!" I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right. 8 flavors. There's also a Dragon Quest themed variety box on offer that includes 8 flavors and comes with 8 exclusive Dragon Quest coasters. They got to get that collectible in there. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, these game-inspired offerings are currently on sale at branches of Baskin-Robbins in Japan until May 31st or while supplies last. Better get your plane tickets now, kids, because this stuff is going to be real limited. And somebody's going to buy this for like $4 and sell all of these for like $25 each. But I thought the Emerald City was Ireland. No, that's the Emerald Isle. Oz was Australia. No, I'm afraid not. Slime candy in Japanese conjures really bad imagery. Yeah. Yeah, BG, you're not wrong. That does inspire a sort of hentai impression, doesn't it? But that's not all we've got in Japan news. We've got another article from Japan Today about Gundam manholes land in Sagamihara City, adding to Japan's impressive lineup of manhole designs. This is great. The little medallion things they had for Yokai Watch and other various shows, they've made them into manhole covers. It's brilliant. So you can see these awesome things until somebody drives over them and spins out. Manhole covers in Japan are more than just utilitarian. Sometimes they have designs that add a bit more flair to the city streets. While originally they often incorporated local sites or specialties, these days localities can encourage more tourism by installing manhole covers inspired by popular characters such as Pokemon. Another popular series now has some manhole cover tributes is classic mech anime Gundam. 2 designs have landed in Sagamihara City in Kanagawa Prefecture. Sagamihara is the perfect place to house these tributes to the science fiction anime, as is the home of the Japanese Aerospace Exploration Agency, JAXA campus. The original designs have nods to the local history of space exploration, with universe themes featuring spacecrafts developed by JAXA. One stars the RX-78-2 Gundam along with the Hayabusa craft that JAXA launched in 2003 and returned to Earth in 2010. That does look pretty cool. The second design combines MSO6 Zaku 2 from the Mobile Suit Gundam series with Slim, smart lander for investigating Moon. You really forced that analogy, didn't you? A pinpoint lunar lander set to launch later this year. Before being properly installed, these manhole covers will be displayed at various locations in Sagamihara from now until May 8th. That's today. They're currently at the Sagamari City Museum as part of their Sewage World Sewage World mini X. I kind of want to go to that. I didn't know I needed that, but I do. So yeah, if you're in Japan, you better get out there and find these. Slammers, yeah, they do look like pogs, don't they? All right, 2 articles left, then we're gonna wrap it up. Japanese love decorating everything. It's not weird. Just lucky it isn't a manhole covers from where they have the penis festival. Yeah, that's true. I won't be able to show those, but I'd laugh at them in private. Get it? Private. ICV2 is reporting that Frank Miller presents Signs with Diamond. New publishing company Frank Miller Presents has appointed Diamond Comic Distributors as the exclusive distributor of its products to comic specialty shops and comic and book markets worldwide. The company's announced book distributions will be handled by Diamond's book distributions division. Yeah, shocker. The new deal comes as IDW's publishing prepares to move its comic store distribution to Penguin Random House publisher services in June. Diamond will continue to offer IDW products as a PRHPS sub-distributor, which is what they do with Marvel. And a string of smaller companies moved distribution to Simon & Schuster, including most recently Mad Cave Studios, which I didn't know was still publishing books. Miller is editor-in-chief of the new publishing company. Longtime DC co-publisher Dan DiDio will be the publisher, and Celine Thomas will be the chief creative officer. We talked about that last time. It will publish comics in the same vein as Miller's work, as well as new titles by new and emerging creators as per launch announcement. Publisher will launch with 4 titles later this year: Sin City 1858, Ronin Book 2, Pandora, and Ancient Enemies. And I'm going to check out at least Sin City and Ronin, probably the others as well. So I'm looking forward to this, and it's good they signed on with Diamond. That will probably help Diamond. But I think IDW is probably done for anyway, so. I think they do have some that look like Mario pipes frosted. I know the Mario Land exhibition has a bunch of them. But I think they have some public ones too. Sir, your luggage weighs 380 pounds. Yeah, good luck getting that out of the country. All right, and finally, first of all, let me thank you all for coming out and hanging around. Be sure and hit the like button, share it on your social media, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Giant pogs. Those are pogs for Godzilla. That's what those are. They're Godzilla slammers. All right, in our last article, is about Free Comic Book Day. The best comics to pick up for Free Comic Book Day 2022. Oh boy, because this is a source of really helpful information, is to tell me your opinion on what I should be picking up. Which is what I do. Stop stealing my job. Today, May 7th, is the first Saturday in May, and for comic book fans, it's the biggest day of the year. Let's just cut to the chase, so fuck care. Best Archie comic ever. So yeah, that's Archie's installment. Let's see what the other ones were. This year's pretty cool books to choose from. Marvel's introducing Bloodline, The Daughter of Blade. In Avengers X-Men 1. DC is Dark Crisis 0. It's their new event. Several non-superhero books as well as Doctor Who. Clementine #1. So let's see here. A new dawn for Archie is upon us. Archie Andrews has forever been known as Everyman. He's your average teenager, and that's what makes him so well liked. But it doesn't take a super scientist, superhero, or super spy to see that Archie is anything but average. Welcome to the weird, wonderful world of Archie, where anything and everything can happen to a red-headed, freckle-faced teen in a sleepy little town. In the movie version, he's black. This little This title serves as a special sneak peek of what's to come from Archie's new series of anthology titles, as well as some best of moments from recently released titles. Get in on the ground floor of a new era of Archie with the special issue 0 title. Now, Archie Comics has done some really good stuff in the last 10 years as far as making Archie more interesting than something like the creepy homeschool kid or a elementary student would read. So I'll give them credit for that. So this might be good. DC's League of Super Pets. All right, I saw a commercial for this, and I'm not interested at all. It looks really annoying. Plus, why does Ace the Bat Hound look completely different than the German Shepherd he is in the comics? Godzilla Slammers without safe search. Nope, I'm good. Hey, Andrew. Oh, pancakes. Nice. Stop erasing redheads. Yeah, good luck with that. So, League of Super Pets. This is a movie tie-in. Fans can get an early preview of the upcoming original graphic novel, DC League of Super Pets, The Great Mix-Up, before it releases on May 17th. Picking up immediately where the highly acclaimed animated film DC League of Super Pets leaves off. The Great Mix-Up is written by Heath Corson. I have no idea who that is. With art by Bobby Timothy. No idea who that is. There's nothing the Super Pets love more than spending time with the heroes, but finding it difficult to be taken seriously as members of the team when the humans just don't understand them. But when Mr. Mixoplick arrives in Metropolis with a plan to wreak a little chaos and destruction, the League is caught on his trap. The Super Pets will be needed to come up with a plan to prevent Mix's mischief from destroying the city while somehow trying to rescue their human counterparts. The only problem is they need to recruit their greatest enemy in order to defeat him. Ooh. Dark Crisis number 0. This is their new thing where they literally killed these guys in Justice League 75. And they're replacing them with these guys. And the Aquaman Jackson Hyde is not on here for some reason. But yeah, they killed off Aquaman too. Dark Crisis from Joshua Williamson, who's a pretty good writer, and Daniel Samperi have been in the making for 30 years. I don't know about that. Officially kicks off with Free Comic Book Day with Dark Crisis number 0, Free Comic Book Day special edition. The Justice League is comics' greatest super team made up of DC's legendary superheroes. They have saved the world countless times. No crisis was too much for them to handle until now. The Justice League has been defeated by the Great Darkness, which is very vaguely defined and sounds a lot like the Nothing from the Neverending Story. I'm not kidding. It literally looks like they took the storyline from the Neverending Story. And its army of DC's most dangerous enemies. Now, a new generation of superheroes must rise to protect not only the multiverse, but also the legacy of the DCU. It includes a preview and art from Dark Crisis number 1 coming in June. Now, what got me about Justice League number 75, spoiler alert, is that when they set this story up, they added these 3 in. They're hinting that these are the big ones. We're going to have Jace Fox, fake Superman, and whatever her name is, as the big ones. They're going to be the big heroes here. But what they don't understand is they already have legacies for these guys. Donna Troy or Cassie could replace Wonder Woman. Batman could be replaced by Nightwing. And Superman could be replaced by Martian Manhunter, who arguably is more powerful. And they wrote Barry Allen out. They offhandedly mentioned that he was trapped in some whatever MacGuffin. But Wally West is still running around, who's been in more adventures than Barry Allen in the last 30 years. And Aquaman, Mura's still around. So you have all these people with vastly more experience dealing with big threats, cosmic level threats, and just combat experience than these 3 clowns. But they're making them the heroes of the book. I think this is going to be a less than subtle way of replacing these guys and retiring them more than they've already tried to do. And it looks like that's what they've started. This was the 5G plan all along that they said they weren't doing, which turned into Future State. It's lazy premise, especially because they're using the the great darkness, which is the nothing from Neverending Story. The greatest villain, who, the dog catcher? Probably. Oh, gross, Cougar. What a more common weakness. He's not even hurt by fire anymore. Sadly, this is a better cover than some of them they've done lately. So, yeah, there's plenty of other people that could replace these guys that have way more experience. I mean, you could recruit even some other people, like more obscure characters like Aztec, that have more combat experience than these three clowns. I want to say ass clowns, but that would get me in trouble. This is just a way to wipe out these guys to bring in their new PC super lazy characters. Guardian of Fukushima. No, they didn't have this one at my comic shops, so I didn't see this one. On March 11, 2011, a massive earthquake off the coast of Japan triggered a devastating tsunami, which in turn destroyed the 3 core reactors of the Fukushima nuclear power plant. This tragedy cost almost 20,000 lives and devastated countless more, including Naoto Matsumura, a farmer ordered to evacuate from the deadly radiation zone. Unwilling to abandon his beloved animals, Matsumura chose to return home to his farm and fight for the beauty of life. Powerful graphic novel from France intertwines Matsumura's story of human resilience and compassion with the compelling mythology of Japanese folktales. That sounds boring as shit. It won't always be like this. That looks boring as shit. That is garbage art. What are you, a high school emo? An intimate graphic memoir about an American girl growing up with her father's new Egyptian family, forging unexpected bonds and navigating adolescence in an unfamiliar country, from award-winning author of I Was Their American Dream. Ugh. Tell me you wrote a shitty book without telling me you wrote a shitty book. Joanna and the Impossible Monsters. Also shit art. Rainbow has been searching for her sister Joanna for a year. The last time she saw Joanna was also the first time she saw one of the monsters that now roam the planet. They're big, ugly, dangerous creatures driving humanity to the brink of extinction. Though there isn't much hope for survival out in the wild, Rainbow knows that her sister's out there somewhere and she'll do anything to find her. Boring. Clementine, a bold new young adventure from The Walking Dead. Hey, remember that kid nobody cared about? She's back, yay. The next big thing from Robert Kirkman's The Walking Dead is here, because you're not tired of that crap yet. Get the complete first chapter of Clementine Book 1 by award-winning author Tilly Walden, who wrote a couple things I've never heard of. Plus an extended look at Everyday Hero Machine Boy and Sea Serpent's Heir. The next can't miss OGNs from Skybound Comet, our new imprint for young adult and middle grade readers. Yeah, at least they're aiming toward young people. That art is also shit, though. Where's the rest of her nose? Like, her face looks unsymmetrical because this line comes down and then just stops. And then there's nothing. And then this weird half nose. That looks unfinished, or like you fucked up this line. Like she got her face rearranged, and it makes this eyeball look off center. That is very uncanny valley and haunting. I'm gonna have nightmares about that. Doctor Who #1, not Whoopi Goldberg. Exclusive lead into an epic new Doctor Who story arc that nobody wanted, launching May 2022. An epic adventure with the time-traveling Time Lord. This issue serves as a lead-in to the explosive new story arc that reveals the very early years of the Doctor's past. Present and future all collide in a Doctor Who tale that's out of this universe. Written by Jody Houser, Strike 1 and 2. This is picking up off of the story The Timeless Child, where this black lady is the original Doctor, not William Hartnell. No. See, originally this was an alien from another dimension, and it was this strong, independent black lady who don't need no man, and she was forced to regenerate, and that's how the Time Lords got their power, was by stealing it, and then they erased her memory of being a strong, independent POC, and yeah, ruined Doctor Who, and you want to ruin comics version of it now. Galaxy, the prettiest star. More dog shit art. Good thing there's a dog on here because this is all shit. Every day in Taylor, life seems perfect, but every day is torture. Taylor is actually the galaxy crowned, an alien princess from the planet Cynadil, or whatever, Cynadai, I don't know. One of the few survivors of an intergalactic war. For 6 long, painful years, Taylor's accepted her duty to remain in hiding as a boy on Earth. Oh, trans issues. But all that changes when Taylor meets Metropolis girl Catherine, call me Cat Silverberg, whose confidence is electrifying. Suddenly, Taylor no longer wants to hide, even if exposing her true identity could attract her greatest enemies. Isn't this the exact same premise of I Am Not Starfire? And like 5 other things. First of all, your art is garbage. Second of all, it's got another boring generic premise of somebody has to hide their identity, and it's not even interesting. It's lazy. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We talked about this briefly a second ago. Ninja Turtles have broken out of the lockdown neighborhood of Manhattan known as Mutant Town. But which Ninja Turtles? And is that Venus spying on them? As all new mutants haunt and terrorize New York City, enemies and allies of the TMNT alike prepare for a confrontation greater than any that has come before. The Rat King's diabolical Armageddon game. Written from Tom Waltz, Sophie Campbell, Rhonda Peterson, and Kevin Eastman. Exclusive original material. Avengers X-Men #1, Judgment Day. It's the new big event where they're rewriting mutant history. Featuring stories by an all-star lineup of creators, including Kieran Gillian and Jerry Dugan, and artist Dustin Weaver. This will lay the groundwork for an event that will erupt across the Marvel Universe in 2022 and drastically alter the relationship between Earth's mightiest heroes and mutant kind. So what they're doing is they're setting up the mutants to be spawned from deviants that the Eternals hunt. So this is going to be Eternals versus X-Men with the Avengers stuck in the middle. And remember, the X-Men are effectively some sort of weird power fantasy for marginalized people now. So they have outposts on the moon, and they claim that outer space is theirs now, and they dictate what everybody can and can't do from their little island nation, much like District 12 in the Hunger Games. So they're starting a war with the Eternals, apparently. It looks really fucking dumb. Free Comic Book Day Marvel Voices, because things weren't gay enough in the comic industry. Gotta throw more of them in there. Is Black Panther gay now, too? I can't keep up. They're all gay. I don't know. Shang-Chi's on here. He's probably gay now. I don't even know who this is. Or this weird... this kid looks familiar, but I don't know. I don't fucking care either. In addition to brand new stories starring it's Moon Girl. Written by Nadia Shamas, an artist, somebody. Marvel Voices will reprint the following stories from past Marvel Voices one-shots. See what I mean? They couldn't even sell this crap, so now they're giving away reprints. So yeah, reprint of Brother Voodoo. I guess he's gay now. From Marvel Voices. Showcasing Indigenous heroes from Indigenous Voices. Miles Morales from Marvel Voices Legacy. Bishop, I guess he's gay now. And Wave from Marvel Voices Identity. Then from Pride, we have history of LGBTQ plus representation in Marvel. And then Shark Girl from Marvel's Comunidades. I don't know. I think that's the Spanish history one. With a whole bunch of people that you'll never hear of because, other than John Ridley, who does not seem to like white people. Most of these people are hacks, including John Ridley. I think he's vastly overrated. So that's what they said is the best of Free Comic Book Day. All right, what I picked up was I did pick up the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Free Comic Book Day. I picked up the Dark Crisis one, and I picked up the Judgment Day one, which is sadly on better quality paper than their regular books. But I also picked up Carriers, which is the Pigeon book from Red 5. And it's got a lot of potential, quite frankly. The art in the last issue wasn't that great. Shark Girl with a K, not a T. Although that'd be funnier. Carriers has a lot of potential to really catch on. But the Carriers one also has previews for Bjorn, which has a sort of Calvin and Hobbes style art, and Dragon Whisperer, which I know nothing about. And so that's 4 of them. And my 5th one was Red Sonja, She Devil with a Sword from Dynamite. And it reprints the main Red Sonja story from Marvel Feature number 4 from 1973. And it also has a story from the new series, which I think is from the regular Red Sonja, which issue 1 was total dog crap. Total dog crap. Oh. So yeah, the free comic book day offerings, there were a couple others I was thinking about picking up. I'll probably pick up next time. I might pick up that Archie one. Because like I said, some of the Archie stuff hasn't been too bad. The Archie 1955, I thought that was pretty well done. The Vampironica and the Werewolf Jughead ones were pretty interesting. They're good teenager books. I'm way out of the target demographic, and it's very obvious, but they were well done for what they were. But most of these other ones, like the Dark Crisis storyline, looks stupid. The X-Men Avengers Eternals thing looks stupid. And there are a lot of really just garbage-looking books. But like I said, there were some that look pretty good that I will pick up because they're free. And that's the only reason to get some of these. So that's all I had for today. If you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them in chat now. The real reason I went out today was not to get the free comics. That was a nice perk. But my comic shop put out a bunch of dollar bins that were full of new stuff that they were saving back for months. And that was way more exciting to me than any of the new stuff coming out on the free comic book day stand. I grabbed Carriers because I was excited to see that. It was actually a pretty good miniseries. Except, like I said, some of the art in issue 4 need a little work. But this free comic book day has some really good art in it. And I think that one's got a lot of potential. But I didn't even know that was coming out. And the Red Sonja one reprints a great story from the 70s from Marvel. But the Turtles one I just grabbed because I think there was some Kevin Eastman art in it. And the other 2 were just something to read to determine whether or not I'm even going to bother with those crossovers, which I probably won't. Monk didn't tell me what was going on, but he said he was not going to do a show. So that's why I did this one. Yeah, exactly, Frosted. And that's exactly the direction it was heading, too. And they were trying to deny that. Like, these are villains. You've made them all into villains. Yeah, and he wasn't feeling very good, so I don't know. He didn't tell me exactly what was going on, so. Did you see Emo Batman? Yeah, it was okay. I didn't hate it. I thought it was pretty good. Even though now that they just made the entire movie so they could have an excuse to make a bobblehead of him. My wife's sister had us go and grab 10 out of 11 that were available, but I got to meet Chris Lambert, writer of my Batman and Everything Batman book, so that was cool. Oh, that's pretty cool. 2 nights in a row. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I hope he's okay. Well, a Twitter DM, you say? Well, maybe. I'll have to get back with you on that. So yeah, guess I'll wrap it up here. It was decent. Just kept thinking Bruce is emo now. Yeah, it really came off as like he hadn't put a lot of thought in any of his activity as Bruce Wayne. So he hadn't developed that character yet. I think Matt Reeves had a great idea that was poorly executed by Robert Pattinson. I think I would have liked the movie more if they didn't have Jigsaw looking Riddler and they'd actually made him look more like Riddler. I think it would have been creepier to have a dude in question marks doing these crimes. But I like the overall tone of the movie. I thought it had some great storyline. It didn't get boring. They could have done without Catwoman. She was just a plot device. But all my complaints were fairly minor. I think Robert Pattinson looked like he didn't want to be there. Ooh, pancakes and bacon. That sounds good. But overall, I thought it was okay. It would have been a better movie if with some slightly different casting. But I don't think he had much of a choice in that. All right. Well, that's going to do it for this one. Thank you so much for coming out and supporting the show. Thank you for the donations. I'm going to keep most of the streams on this channel because I swear a lot and I don't want to risk the monetization. And I do tend to get into like some politics stuff that I don't want to be on the other channel because that hurts you in the rankings. That's true, Assassin. He always whereas the girl that was in the movie, what's her face, Kristen Stewart, she always looks confused. He always looks like he wants to go home. So yeah, that it's very frustrating to watch those movies. I hate those movies so much. Twilight's awful. But thank you guys for coming out, and hopefully we will see you on the next one. Have a great night, everybody.